We will, I think there will be time for a few questions, and Manny will throw the first
Yes,
one.
since I have the mic, I get to ask the first question. Representative Robredo, you mentioned in your speech that sometimes life has a way of delivering the unexpected. So I'm going to ask you a naughty question, if I may. Is there any scenario under which you could see yourself carrying on the torch passed on to you by your husband in a vice presidential capacity to lead us into the greatness that you talked about? And if so, what would be the key priorities?
You know, that's a difficult answer to question, knowing that my children are following your live feeds. No, I have always been closed with regards to the vice presidency. I have said this again and again, that I don't think I'm prepared for something as big as this one. But you know, over the past few days, I was asked to at least just be open to the idea. I was telling everyone that if I will be cerebral about it, the answer is really no. But you know, if there is one lesson that I learned after the death of my husband, it is that we can never really plan too far ahead. There are so many things that happen for a reason, even things that we don't want to happen to ourselves. Mahirap sagutin. But you know, I promise that I will be open about it. I don't have much time left to decide. Hindi ko alam kung maiintindihan ito ng lahat, but really, I have left everything to God's hands. I have prayed about it. I was telling myself I need to drown out all the voices around me to listen to my heart, because I think that is where God will speak to me. I just asked my husband, what would you want me to do? Ang problema lang hanggang ngayon hindi pa din ako sinasagot. It's difficult. It's difficult, especially if you know where I'm coming from. I think people who knew me from 2 years ago will understand why I'm the way I'm acting now. All this, even if my husband has been a public servant for so long, I have always been on the other side of the fence. I was just a supportive wife and was pursuing so many advocacies of my own. And being in front of all this is really scary as far as I'm concerned. My children are against it. But again, gaya ng sabi ko, pareho din nung pagkamatay nung asawa ko. You know, until now, 3 years after my husband died, yung tanong pa din namin mag-iina, bakit kailangan mangyari yung nangyari? Ngayon, yun din yung tanong namin. Sa dinabi-dami, bakit ako? Pero walang sagot eh.
Thank you for your candid response. Whatever you decide to do, and I think I probably speak for this whole room, I'm a believer.
Thank you.
I think by Wednesday, this is when the Liberal Party is having a convention or a meeting of some sort, and they will be making a declaration. So I guess before Wednesday, a decision will have to be made.
To be fair to the party, I guess so. Especially if the answer is no, I think they have to know as soon as possible. In fairness to them, I wasn't really given any deadline. I asked for time to think about it. But masyado ng fatalistic. I really leave everything to faith. Kung sa akin na lang kung ano yung nakatagda, yun naman yung mangyayari.
But as you said, life throws us a lot of unexpected things. So we just catch and we deal with what's given us. But anyway, let's give the audience a chance to ask a couple of questions. Anyone who wants to follow up or who wants to ask a totally different question, please come up to the microphone and introduce yourself. Right there. In the
Somebody
middle.
over here, please.
So good day, Ms. Representative Robredo.
Good afternoon.
My question is,
Your name, please.
I'm Albert Atienza from LaSalle. Thank you. So my question is, you mentioned about the systems and changes, but as a person, sometimes people want to be part of the government so as to change it, so as to improve the lives of other people. But a person once said to me, a person, no matter how good they are, can be rotten once put in the system. So how do we know that we do not let the system change us? Or is it the time that we change the system?
Ano yun eh, I think it's a chicken and egg thing. For one, we have been, at least my husband and I, both have been advocating for people participation in governance. Meaning to say, if government opens itself to people participation, there is no need for people to be elected in order to be part of government. Because there is always space for you to involve yourself. Pero ano lang, not to be very cynical about the entire thing. Gaya ng sinasabi ko kanina, so many of our public officials join government with only the very best of intentions. Pero umiiba once nandyan na. You know, when my husband, yun sinasabi ko general. But I think we have a few exceptions, my husband included. My husband was in government for 21 years. Pero mukhang hindi naman siya napasama. Hindi naman siya napasama. But you know, this is to give you an idea of the fact that it has not been easy to resist. Ang reality, pag pumasok ka, especially if it is an elective position, marami talagang temptations. We're not just talking of temptations of money. Mas temptations ito of power and privileges. When my children were growing up, we always hear their dad telling us, mag-resist tayo. Let us resist enjoying perks and privileges. Kasi when we start enjoying them, baka magustuhan natin. At pag nagustuhan natin, baka hanap-hanapin. And I guess it goes for anyone. Wala namang paragon of virtue, di ba? Kahit ako. I am as broken, I am as, di ba? I am as vulnerable as anyone else. Kaya sa amin lang, we were very aware of our own vulnerabilities, our own limitations. Parating pinagdadasal na araw-araw, pinagdadasal na bigyan ng lakas, na ma-resist yung temptations. Kasi ano talaga siya eh, binibigay sa'yo kahit hindi mo hinihingi. Hindi ka pipila sa mga dapat pilahan, meron kang special attention galing sa kung kanino. Mahirap siyang i-resist because all this make our life easy. Pero nakita kasi namin sa example ng asawa ko that he really exerted effort to be as ordinary as anyone else. And I think it is what gives heart to public service. Madaling sabihin na matino, madaling sabihin na mahusay, pero yung puso, yun yung nagsusustain sa iyo eh. And yung puso, I think, you give a lot of effort to develop that within you. Paano nakukuha yung puso? Even when my husband was already secretary of the DILG, nagko-commute pa uwi, nagbubus, pumipila gaya ng kung kanino. Hanggang ngayon, nakatira kami sa apartment. Yung ganon. Pero bakit ko sinasabi na yun yung nagbibigay ng puso? Sinasabi ko yun yung nagbibigay ng puso kasi pag nararamdaman mo yung hirap ng nararamdaman ng ordinaryo, iba yung pag-treat mo, iba yung klaseng serbisyong binibigay mo kasi ramdam mo. Iba yung binibigay sa'yo sa papel yung problema. Iba din yung ikaw mismo yung dumadaan doon. I think this is what is sorely lacking in our public officials now. yung effort to make yourselves as ordinary as anyone else. Kaya, yun yung nagbibigay ng lalim. Yung nagbibigay ng lalim sa klase ng serbisyong ibinibigay.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss.
Maybe there's time for one more question very quickly.
Hello, I'm Reggie Yamada Burakit of De La Salle University. Mr. Robredo, you talk about the 1986, which is 30 years next year. So what do you vision the Philippines 30 years after 2016? Thank you.
Ako I think yung makaka-relate sa akin yung medyo kaedad ko. Diba? Kasi the young people now only get to read about it. But you know, before 1986, everything was different. We were all afraid to speak. Hindi ko alam kung na-discover na sana nun yung social media, kung we will be as free as now. So, people from my generation understand kung ano yung ipinaglaban ng mga nauna sa atin just to get us to where we are now. And it is that appreciation of the sacrifices that people made in the past that makes us want to fight on. Marami pang, kaya sinasabing unfinished revolution kasi admittedly, we were able to get back many of the freedoms, diba? Many of the freedoms that we were fighting for. Pero freedom for freedom's sake is not enough, diba? Freedom should be translated to better lives for our people. Freedom should be translated to enough food on our table. Freedom should be translated in terms na, kasi pag pinag-usapan yung freedom, parang luxury yun ng mga nakaka-afford eh. Pero paano natin, palagi ko yung challenge now is, paano natin matatranslate yung freedom dun sa mas hikahos kesa sa atin? Paano natin mapapaintindi? Paano natin mapapaintindi na yung pinaglalaban ng mga natin na nandito ngayon, araw, ay kailangan matranslate yon sa mas magaan na buhay para sa iba. Kasi yung freedom is all about having choices, di ba? And you know, for a large percentage of our generation, hindi kasing swerte natin na tayo may choices. Paano ba ako pupunta sa Resorts World? Mag-Uber ba ako? Mag-Grab taxi? O dadala ng sasakyan? Yung iba walang ganyan na choice eh. Di ba? Parang sa akin yung challenge ng generation na ito, maitawid na yung gains nung 1986 matranslate into terms na more understandable and mas ma-appreciate ng mga kapatid natin na mas kulang yung privileges kesa sa atin.
Thank you po.
Thank you very much. Let's give Representative Leni Robredo a big hand of applause, big round of applause. Thank you very much, ma'am.